So let's start off with creating a particular block management and management with respect to the controllers. So we have users controller, post controller, and the categories controller. So the users controller includes some set of code and actions implemented in it. So let's focus on each and every action and implement accordingly. So first of all is nothing but the index action, which is the default action. It says persistent parameters null. So first of all, it mentions that there is no parameters to be taken indirectly, or you can say some kind of like instant thing which is to be mentioned. Public function search action. So this is nothing but searches for the users. So here it maintains all the, you can say like any kind of search which is to be integrated over here. This is like number page one and it includes a search query. So it says like you need to get query from this particular parameters, that is page and in, with respect to users, and this is implemented with the dependency injection. If you have the basic knowledge about CRUD like create, read, update and delete, so this is quite easy to be okay. So this was for the search thing. So it has a number page, it has parameters to be invoked, it takes order with respect to the ID. So this order is nothing but the order by clause. So that is done with respect to ID. And the dispatchers, the dependency injection, it forwards it to the controller, users, and the major action to be taken is index. This is nothing but a paginator. So paginator is nothing but like whatever pagination value is to be done, what is to be implemented, what all is like used. So that was for the search thing. New action is there and there is also called as an edit action. So what does edit action does? So let's first of all run this particular project and see how it looks. So this is blogs. Let's go on for users. So this is a search user. If you go for create, it gives create user panel. If you go back, it gives the particular association. So login with respect to this ID. So I say for login is with some values, login, and the password that has been created. So let's search. So it is giving the particular output. So that all functionality is done with respect to users. So that users controller. So let's move on again to this. So we have an edit action. Edit action helps in editing the particular post. So edit action helps in editing or any kind of editing which is to be done. Whatever the post we had. The major thing of here it is that dispatcher mentions controller is users and the action to be implemented is index. The next thing is we need to create save action. So we saw for create action. So create action is nothing but like the save action. I'm going to rename this because these all are what we are going to have a look on. So we have a save action. So save action is nothing but the one which saves the particular value. So whatever values has been created, it will be saved over here. So it is in the save action. It is giving some error. It says that it has already, sorry, it has already been declared. So let's move on to that action. Create action is creating a new thing. Save action is saving whatever it has been created. Here, if you see, there is something called as find first by ID, which is nothing but PHQL, that is Phalcon and SQL, Phalcon query language. We'll have a look on this in the upcoming chapters. So find by first ID, these gives a complete overall picture. Like whatever is to be searched, it is searched with respect to the ID. If the user exists, then display it. If does not, then see it does not exist. So that was regarding this thing. We have a delete action. So delete action helps in like deleting a particular user or whatever it is to be done. So this was regarding different actions and the user's controller, which we saw right now. Let's go to our index controller. Understanding index controller, any change to be done? There is no change to be done. Next is like moving on to our controller base. Controller base over here is also showing as blank. So it is like, it is a major controller which includes all the controllers in it. It's like a parent class. So control base also does not have any kind of thing. Let's move to our post controller. So yeah, post controller It has a search action to be implemented, and there is a new action, edit action, as well as a create action. So these all things are there even for the post, and the similar, even the delete action. Similar thing applies for the categories controller. Again, index action, search, new action, edit action, and create action, and accordingly. So let's go on to our users controller. Now here, I'm not going to use any of these functions. So I'm going to just remove. It's like my users controller will be associated only and only with respect to two things. First is the login action, and the second is the logout action. So let's start off, like I'll create a function name. Function name is created in this way in Phalcon, public function. The name of the function, that is login action, and that's all. So I've created a function. Here I'll say with respect to PHP query, $user equal to users find first, and here I will implement an array. So here it will have an array. The name of the array will be in this way: login equal to colon login. So I'm implementing for login, so I'll say login password. So this is like we are fetching a value of login and password which was saved in the database. If you remember, I have described you the complete database structure earlier in this chapter. Password, and next come is bind array. So I'm going to bind an array. So that will be like just array. So it will be array, and it will have login. Login will be nothing but the request which we will receive it. So I'll say $this to request get post. So this is function which I'll get it from the view. I'll do it that accordingly. Get post login, and the next one is it's showing an error, like, okay, this will be equal to will be signified in this way. Next is password, and in the similar manner I'll say get post password. So but the password is integrated with the SHA symbol. So I'll just say $this SHA1. So that is my function SHA1. I'll implement my password over here. It has been encrypted in that particular format. So yeah, I've done with it. I have an array over here which has been called. So I'll see for this one. Yeah, over here I'll mention a semicolon. It's like an array is being binded over here in the appropriate manner. Just check it out if it is syntactically correct. We need one more. Yeah. So it is binded out properly. Now what I need to see, if a user is false, so what will it show? It will just give me an error message that incorrect details. So that is the flash error message which has been configured over here in the services.php. If you remember, it has a flash error message, return flash. So let's do that thing. We have a flash message that is if $user equal to false. Okay, then what is to be implemented is the flash message that is $this flash error incorrect credentials, and that's all. We have done with it. Now next is we need to return this particular error message. So I'll say return $this dispatcher, and dispatcher will forward an array. So I'll say forward an array, that is the array of login and sorry, the controller which is to be implemented. Okay. So here I'll say the controller name, that is users and action, that will be it. So I'll say index. So this particular array will be mentioned over here. Error is showing an error, which means okay, yeah. The controller will have the associated thing. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah. So the error is being solved. So let's start off with the other thing, that is the logout function. So in the similar way, public function logout action. So this is my function. So public function logout action will just be amplified just to get out from the particular session. So I'll say $this remove, sorry, $this session. First of all, I imply for session. Remove, what is to be removed is the authentication package in Phalcon. So that is mentioned with auth, return $this, and dispatcher check out for the spelling, it's dispatcher, yes, properly, dispatcher forward the similar way, dispatcher forward way, return action. Let's check out for whatever is to be implied inside here. We have included auth and many more. So yes, the user controller is being defined specifically. So all the controllers have been defined. Let's check out how the output is to be described in our next chapter.